The Hour, an intimate women-only conversation series where truth finally has a safe space to breathe. Here, every guest wears a physical mask to protect her identity, allowing her to speak freely without fear of judgment, labels, or social backlash. In this space of radical safety, women open up about the thoughts that they usually silence and the stories that they'd never dare to tell. At the end of every conversation, each woman is given a choice to keep the mask on or to remove it, standing openly by her truth. Tonight's episode asks a bold question. What would happen if Black women were 100% honest? In a world that often praises their strength, but rarely listens to their vulnerability, this conversation opens the door for truth, raw, real, and unapologetic. Here, these women share what it means to navigate identity, beauty, and belonging while carrying expectations that the world may never fully understand. They're here to speak their truth, unfiltered, unedited, and masked or unmasked. This is Honesty Hour.
You already know the vibe, man. We are back with another one. Salute to everybody in the building. Happy holidays, Thanksgiving, whether y'all celebrate it or not. Listen, tonight we are reacting to something real from the Dr. Daf Show. Now, this is one of those rare moments where we get to see that women are being 100% honest, not the internet version of themselves, not the persona that they put on for social medias, but the truth that they only say when nobody is judging. And that's why this clip is, you know what I mean? I just think that this clip right here hits a little bit different for me. But we always hear the loud voices online, but we really get to hear the honest ones, you know what I mean? So I really want to break this down. But first, we got to talk about honesty versus the internet personas. Most women don't speak like this online because of vulnerability. It gets punished. And the internet wants the performance and not the truth. But this clip, I think, shows the real feelings underneath internet persona. So let's just get down to this. Salute to everybody. Make sure y'all all are subscribing to On Go. Make sure you put the notification bells on, turn them on. Like, subscribe, share, do everything. You already know the vibe. Let's get back to
it. I feel pressure to always be strong because I'm Black.
I am a woman who happens to be Black. So the pressure is not on me to be just some type of human, superficial person. My goal is to live my life and be the best person I can be. I don't feel pressure to do anything that I think something that's forced upon me to do.
I agree with her. I don't feel as though we're pressured. I feel like we're expected. So I feel like it's an expectation that's placed upon us. But I don't feel pressured to do it. It's just an expectation, and you do not have to be. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like there's this mentality within not even just the Black community, but in other communities that they, even if you do, line up with one of the stereotypes, you sort of feel a sense of guilt or something I'm not representing us in a tasteful way, regardless of it's positive or negative.
I feel the pressure because I decided to be a single mom because I left my husband, and a lot of stuff I feel like people just put more pressure on single moms, and as a Black woman I feel like we just take on everything, so that's what I feel.
I would say that I do feel the pressure, because I know that's what the default is. I have to be actively rebellious against it. So while I do feel the pressure, I'm rebellious against it. I push against it because I think that we have got to make a stand. We have to say, I am a woman. I am not superwoman, but I am a woman, and have those boundaries, because I think those stereotypes still cascade. They go down from generation to generation, and you have to actively resist, because I don't think the pressure generally goes away, but you have to have the tenacity to resist it.
I would say, like, I definitely feel some pressure to be strong, and I felt it a lot, especially growing up in a majority white, like, I'm from the South. So there's always pressure to, one, not fulfill some stereotype that I know these people around me have, and not just because I was guessing it. Like they would tell me, you're like the quote unquote good black person, you're the good black girl, and I used to really, I don't want to say that I enjoyed that, because it felt like, again, it's the whole idea of the white supremacist society that we live in, and like with these white people validating me and saying you're being like this good version of black people or whatever it is, and I felt like I had to stay that and fulfill that to be able to fit in and not be ostracized by the people around me. That was just like what I had to do. Now that I'm not living in the South anymore, I feel like I was able to let go of some of that pressure to be like some version of myself and like let myself be. I don't want to say like living the soft life, but that is kind of what it is. I'm allowing myself to not be perfect, to not be this or that, and it's been kind of freeing, honestly.
I'm happy for you for that.
Thank you.
Being that I'm a product of a single mom, I think I've seen her work so hard. She had 3 kids by herself, put herself through nursing school, bought her own house. So I can see how that would feel for you. And I think that's probably why I'm so kind of like against it, because being a latchkey kid and also being the eldest daughter, it's like the responsibility was put on me because I had to be the person to kind of be the responsible one. And when I got to college, I was like, you know what? No. I'm tired of doing it. And also being from the South, I grew up in Alabama, and having, I don't know, and being a product of my stepmom, who's a white woman, and having that lens of her marrying my father when I was 5 years old, and they're still married, but seeing that other part of the spectrum, and her actually having a sister who is alt-right. It's kind of like seeing, and then also being kind of like, oh my God, Monica, you're so cute, like you're going to school. I'm like, but no, but also having a mom who's like pro everything. And her always kind of feeding into me saying, Monica, do your best. Don't do what I did. I'm living through you, but I want you to have the experiences I never got to have. And so with that, I say to myself, like, I don't have to be this person who I'm supposed to be through society. I can be just a black girl who likes to hear rock music. I can be a black girl who likes to go to plays. I could be a black girl who goes to a PWI, but still, does different things. And I don't feel the pressure to do anything different. So I think college, and by me, it kind of helped shift my mindset from that. And it all started with my mom to being a single parent. So you got it, girl. You gonna do it.
I think it's like case by case, because sometimes it's like, when you get to a certain point, you're like, okay, I just need to like, there's no hiding this. But sometimes it's like, okay, like I can't be in these people's faces like looking crazy. So I guess it sort of depends on where the audience is, and also just kind of like what kind of day you're having, I would say.
I feel like I agree with you, but I also feel like there's a time and place for everything when it comes to me, and based on what I do for a living and what I aspire to be, I have to be very careful when it comes on to that, because saying the wrong thing sometimes can destroy what you're trying to build before you can even start, because society nowadays is very sensitive. It's not like it used to be. And everybody take things personal, and sometimes the truth is the truth, but it's gonna ruffle a lot of people whose on top that you need to get you where you need to be, it's gonna ruffle their feathers, and that can destroy everything. So for me, like, I pick and choose. When it comes onto my career and certain things having to do with where I'm trying to go, no. But on my day-to-day life, when it comes on to like raising my daughter and little things, yes, I'm not holding it back. If I gotta hold it back in this aspect, everywhere else it's not being held back.
I feel like sometimes my community holds me hostage. I was raised in a all-white neighborhood too, and I think that if you don't like fit into like a certain type of Black woman, if you don't go along with like this playbook of like what you're supposed to believe about the world and what you're supposed to believe about people who are outside of the group, what are you supposed to believe politically, romantically, it's like there's this like manual that you gotta follow, and if you don't, it's like you're not a real Black person, or you're, you know, I have slightly conservative views, like not even really that crazy, but it's like what you said, everybody's so sensitive, and I feel like sometimes while we want to be seen as individuals, when it comes to certain things, they really do put the
Salute to everybody in the building. I want everybody to drop a like, hit the polls in any of the channels that you're watching on right now. You know what I mean? I can go into some breakdowns, but I think that's what we do a lot of. And I think we do a lot of that as men, thinking that we want to break down everything. You know what I'm saying? I just want to kind of listen to what the women are saying. And if we want women that want to join, the link is in the chats. If you do have something to say, if you know what I mean, are triggered by some of these things. And, you know what I mean, some of these, you know what I mean, things that they're saying are reflecting things that you've been through or maybe things that you feel as well. You're open to hit the link. But I just want to let the ladies express this because, you know, I like how they're doing this panel and I like how they got masks on. And at the end, they have an option to take off the mask or not. And a lot of us are living with masks every single day, especially on these internet spaces, YouTube, be it whatever. A lot of us are wearing masks, but we refuse to take them off at all. So we don't even have the choice. We don't even give ourselves that choice. But let's just take a listen in and see what's going on.
pressure, I feel it, the pressure on to, you know, you're not really Black if you don't vote this way, or you're not really Black if you don't date this kind of, marry this person. And it's very constraining, you know, and you sort of walk this line of like wanting to be accepted from, these are your people. It's like, there's something so painful about being rejected by people who look like you, especially when you feel like you don't like have any other place to really go that these people look like you. I mean, yes, you can form these communities where they love you, you know, they're all, you know, looks like the United Colors of Benetton, your whole group of people, but like sometimes you just want your people to just be like, embrace you. I feel like if you don't go by the playbook, you'll be punished for it. And it's not pretty.
That's interesting. I feel like it's also who you have around you too. And my experience may be a little bit different. I grew up in an all Black neighborhood. Went to Black schools. Did marching band. Was exposed to HBCUs at like in elementary school. And what we always say, we had what we call kitchen table talk. And so there are some things that I would say in the kitchen with my folks that I would never say out in public because, for one, I'm not going to be delusional and think, well, I can just be this person who's just speak her mind. I got bills I got to pay. Keep that real. And also because my profession, I do customer service. And my view on something may not be her view or his view. So I have to be mindful of what I'm going to say. But it depends on the audience as well, too. I think you said it before. When you are in that community with people and can express yourself, and be like, sometimes you got to educate our people. They think, you know, like, listen, that if you talk educated, you are a white girl. That is so crazy to me. But it's just like a trickle.
I think that's a real thing too, though. You know, if you talk educated, do people think like that? You know what I mean? I grew up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Growing up wherever you grew up at, you know what I'm saying? As a non-white person, You know what I mean? Do you feel that whether be it you or friends, family, anybody around you, just because they spoke maybe more proper, did people think of them as less black? Ask yourself that question, and y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all thinking about that. Let's get back to it.
Down effect from white supremacy and all the kind of stuff that, we can go on top of that all day because it's like almost beating a dead horse. And I feel like, with that being said, I can be myself, but I also learned not to have to code switch because I used to do that years ago. And I'm like, why are you code switching? Do you white folks ain't gonna like you anyway? You gotta be yourself. I'm gonna have to be who I am. So I'm professional. I show work on time. I do the best I can be. And if you can't accept me for that, I don't know what else you're gonna do because
Appreciate you, Zana, for the super chat. I appreciate that most definitely. Happy holidays to you and your family. I appreciate that.
their perception of me is already made up. No matter how good you are, no matter how proper you talk, no matter how much money you have in your bank, or what car you drive, you would never be enough to that person who has their mind made up. So I decided with that, I'm gonna be me and just keep it moving.
With me, I hold back a lot because I just got a temper and an attitude. And I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a fire sign, so a lot of stuff get on my nerves. I just like hold back, but I do see like if I'm driving my
You went into the fire sign. She said, listen, I'm a fire sign. I ain't mad with her, sis.
car and somebody want to get over, it's kind of because you're black, they kind of make it seem like if I get over on her, she's gonna have an attitude or she gonna try to do something to me. And 90% of the time, I'm like, go, because I'm passive. I don't care, go, just drive. But I feel like as a black person, people feel like you're aggressive or like you're gonna do something, or you get into an argument in the store, something's gonna go left, and I'll be like, no, that's not me. Just go. But I do have a slick mouth, so I do hold back a lot, and I just 90% of the time just try to stay in my lane because I'm like, I don't want to be always looked at as that person anyway, even though they do see us as that person. So that's how I go about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't know if you guys want to go first.
Also, I don't know what even
Stereotypes start from somewhere, you know? It's like, it doesn't just come out of thin air, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, Asians have this, they can't drive, right? Everybody has like this thing where it's like there's enough of people in that group where you can say, okay, this tends to be the tendency for like a particular group. And I would definitely say that there are some stereotypes about Black people that are true, and I don't think they're all bad. You know what I mean? I think that some of the stereotypes about us being like more in our body, we are more in touch with like our emotions, we're more expressive, incredibly creative musically with art and all of those things. Those stereotypes, I think, are beneficial, but I think that the stereotypes that like we want to deny that are still a problem, and everybody else sees. I'm going to use it as an example. Like, we've got a huge out of wedlock rate in our community, and I know it's painful. I know it's really hard to talk about. I've been